Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Years podcast, a podcast about all things Disney. Hey guys, I am your host Josh, and as always, I am joined by the lovely Ashley. Ashley, are you ready for this year-end review?
I am. I'm excited. I was listening to some Disney content earlier today, and the end of the year has kind of crept up on me a little bit. Like I feel like this year flew by, but I'm excited and looking forward to the future. So I thought today we could talk about some TV shows and movies that we really loved that came out in 2023. All of them are, for the most part, probably on Disney Plus, available on Disney Plus right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of probably unnecessary content that was released by Disney in 2023. And I think moving forward, that's not the direction that they're going to be going in. It's going to be more quality over quantity, which I'm looking forward to.
Same.
Because in kind of looking back a little bit, you realize just how much stuff they've put out, and it's too much. It's too much to keep track of. It's too much to keep up with. I mean, it's a full-time job to watch all of the content that they release, and it's not feasible. So I would rather have less with better quality.
Less is more.
Yeah, but let's talk about some of the staple events, staple movies, staple TV shows that were released this year.
Okay. So what do you want to start out with, the movie or TV shows?
I don't really care. I mean, you want to do movies first?
Let's do movies first because that would be easier, I think.
Okay.
So I'm just going off of like Disney movies that were released in theaters.
So
not Disney movies that were released in like Disney Plus.
Are we talking about all of them or just the ones that we care about? Because there's a ton.
Well, just the ones that we care about.
Okay.
And I pretty much have like a list of what we care about right here.
Okay, go ahead.
So Guardians of the Galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
Volume 3 came out. It feels like forever ago when it came out, but it came out this year.
I know.
Also Ant-Man and Quantumania. Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania came out this year too. Hard to believe. Are we ranking them, or are we just...
I figured we could talk about the ones that we care about a little bit more in detail.
Okay. I was just going off.
We didn't discuss this before we started recording. We just kind of went into it.
Yeah.
Josh is on vacation this week, so I was able to come home from work, and we have a little bit of time before we pick up Grayson to actually do a podcast episode. So, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite
Guardians movie.
It's a tough one for me. Now that some time has passed since the movie, I'm really one of those people that cares more about like if something's rewatchable than like a cinematic masterpiece. And I think that this movie, probably out of all three, did the best job at like telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was a full circle moment, and we have a little bit of closure for the Guardians, some of the Guardians, and they're moving on to a new chapter. So it felt like the end of a complete series. It was really enjoyable to watch, but I think for me, still a little bit too sad to be something that I want to watch often. But I think, what's the actor's the main bad guy? What's his name? I don't know his name. But the villain did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
He was very convincing.
Yeah.
Very convincing.
I can't believe I'm blanking on his freaking name right now. I love the movie, and I think it is rewatchable because there's a lot of funny.
Well, I mean, it's rewatchable for sure. It's just not going to be my go-to one that I'm like, yep, let's go. Like Iron Man is.
Oh, okay.
I definitely would watch it again. I'm not saying I'd never watch
that's
it
the thing.
again.
I don't think we've watched it since it came out in the theaters.
How many times did we? Because we watched it twice
2
in a
times.
row. Yeah, twice in a row.
Yeah. But I don't think we've watched it since it came out.
Because there's been so much content this year, it's been hard to keep up with it. Like I'm looking back at things that we were so excited about that we didn't even have time to watch because there is so many things.
Yeah.
I just kind of slipped through the cracks. I'm glad we got to see it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. But I don't have a ton else to say about it. I know it's more your kind of thing.
Oh, no, I don't have a lot to say about it other than it's just an enjoyable movie. I think the character development for the movie was great for what it was, and then it bookend, like you said, the chapter of the Guardians. So we get a new Guardians team. I think Groot and Nebula were my 2 favorite parts of the movie because they were you get a totally different Groot in this movie, and you get a totally different Nebula, and it's nice to see those characters kind of shine through the movies. But yeah, I really love the movie. So what's
You
another
said
movie?
Ant-Man.
Well, yeah, I said Ant-Man. I liked Ant-Man. But I also was a little let down by Ant-Man because it could have been a lot different than what it was. I remember coming out of the movie and thinking how much did I like this movie? You know what I mean? I think initially I was like, ooh, I really like that movie because it's so different and weird.
Yeah.
Going back now, I'm like, man, how much did I really like this movie? And do I like the other Ant-Mans more than this Ant-Man? Which I think I do. There's a lot of funny parts in this movie that I like, but I just thought it was missed opportunities on some things.
I thought it was good, but again, it's not something that I'm going to rewatch.
Yeah.
Very often.
Yeah, and then now with Kang and all the Jonathan Major stuff, it's just
that's such a disappointment.
Yeah.
I think that Disney did announce that they're recasting, but they're not getting rid of the character. Which is fine because we've opened up the multiverse now. He can be a variant.
Yeah.
But it does suck because Jonathan Majors did a really good job. I just hate that he turned out to be a piece of crap.
Yeah.
So
I liked him in Loki more than I did.
Yeah, we got to see a lot more of his range in Loki.
Yeah. Which I was like, oh my gosh.
Which we'll talk about for sure.
For that, but okay, so another movie that came out that we watched was The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
I'm not going to have a lot to say about it because I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you talk about it because I was just not a fan.
Why were you not a fan?
I don't know. It wasn't that good. Compared to the other live action movies, I thought the characters, the fish were weird. I thought they would have done a better job making the fish look real but more cartoony.
Yeah. So I liked it. I really liked it, but I feel like it had some pacing issues. I feel like it was a little bit too slow in certain parts, and the whole middle part that you actually care about with Ariel and Eric flew by. And they did a good job at hitting some of those important scenes that we care about. But it was the movie could have been 15 minutes longer and given us so much more content of the two of them. I liked how we got to see a little bit more character development from Eric instead of him just being some random prince. But also he kind of was irritating.
I would just rather see some random prince, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a princess movie, not a prince movie.
I would have to I only watched it, I think, the one time.
Mm-hmm.
It was enjoyable, but I do remember it was kind of slow at the beginning and then kind of way too fast in the middle. But I did like it. I thought the main actress did a great job. She's obviously beautiful and very talented.
No, I thought she did good. And I think she's got like a very good singing voice, and that she fit the character very well. I just don't like the steps that they took throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they could have brought some of the like original voice actors back that are still alive. That would make, like, Sebastian. Like, I want that. I want the animated voice actor.
Yeah.
Because it sounds way better than the one we got.
Yeah.
And like Aquafina as the freaking seagull. I hated that. Didn't mind the bird itself in the movie, but it, like, I'm kind of getting sick of Aquafina because she's in freaking everything right now. Mm-hmm. And like her voice, I really like her in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, she's literally in like every freaking animated movie that's coming out right now.
Yeah.
And I was just annoyed by that because I'm like, God, you get like the bird from the original movie was so funny. Mm-hmm. Like, why couldn't we just get that with a guy voice like it was in the original movie? I don't know.
Yeah,
just
I get it.
Annoyed with some of the small things like that. And I'm like, does it really affect me? Not really, but at the same time, I'm like, I think this maybe would have made me like it a little bit more.
Yeah. I feel like I think that I don't know. I hope that Disney gets back to like the original idea and goal of like storytelling instead of trying to give people what they want. Just tell a story. And I think that they're moving in that direction of just like not gonna try to cater to people as much and make people happy. They're just gonna tell stories like they're supposed to. So we did get some really good things this year, but I think Disney did lose sight of the original vision. So I'm hoping that will be coming back next year.
Agreed. Elemental.
I loved Elemental. That is one that
I feel like Disney was clicking on all cylinders on that one, or at least Pixar was.
Yes, they did it so well, and I'm so glad that the people who saw this movie in theaters hyped it up so much that it just like took off, because it was not doing very well at the box office. And then I feel like the people who saw it, I feel like everyone was kind of expecting to be underwhelmed by it, so nobody went to see it. But the people who did go to see it hyped it up so much that everyone else was like, yes, let's go see it. And then we did, and it was so good. And it was just this cycle to where it blew up.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it was one of the ones where like each week the box office, it didn't get better, but it didn't drop like it's supposed to. Like, so normally after like a opening weekend of a box office for like, say, like a Marvel movie, the next weekend you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to drop like 50 to 70%, because pretty much everyone that wanted to see it in the first week have already seen it.
Yeah.
Or that like really want to see it. And then you just get like, you drop like 50 to 70%, and then after that you drop like another 20%, and then like another 30%, and it kind of goes on from there. I don't think the weekend to weekend drop for Elemental was like that at all, because I think it was like hyped up, so it dropped, but it wasn't like, oh, it didn't make any money this weekend. Like, hey, it actually made $3 million more than what it was supposed to.
It is such a great movie. It looked good to me from the previews, but it still surprised me in so many ways. I love Wade. He is such a great character, and I think the whole concept of the elements, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And the storytelling in this I just loved it.
No, it was good.
The only thing I can say is that Ember, I had to think of her name because it's been a few months since I've seen it.
Uh-huh.
I feel like Ember, and I understand this is part of her character, she was like very harsh with Wade several times, and that was kind of painful to watch. But I understand like the character development throughout the film, and just like people growing in general.
Uh-huh.
But it is kind of hard to watch somebody not treat somebody else well, if that makes any sense. I don't know. There's a couple times where I was like, oh my gosh, she's being so mean to him for no reason. He's the nicest guy. But other than that, I love the movie. What did you think?
I love the movie too.
Did you think she was like mean to him?
No, I felt like she was like any other hard girl that was mean to nice guys.
I just feel like she took it a little too far sometimes.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like that's a normal tough girl reaction to like a sweet guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the first time we watched a movie, I didn't like it because I was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At the movie theater because I just came from work and I was late to get there. And had to like rush in, and I was nasty from work, and it was like a Friday afternoon, and it was just like, it was a crazy afternoon at work.
Yeah.
And then to rush over there, and my mind was just like not focused on the movie, and we were bringing Grayson, and it was just like chaos and just like a lot.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like settle in and focus on the movie.
Yeah. I was the complete opposite. Like I was just sucked in, completely enthralled, having the best time.
Yeah.
Because it totally surpassed my expectations.
Well, what I was gonna say was, for me on the rewatch, I enjoyed it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. We need to watch it again.
And then we've watched it again with Grayson multiple times, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really good movie.
Such a good movie. Really well done. I think it's probably one of my top 5 Pixar. I love Pixar. Pixar is just a step up from regular Disney, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I feel like they do a better job with the animation and the character development. For the most part, maybe they're more relatable for adults or parents. I don't know.
Yeah.
And since we've become parents, my perspective on Disney and animation and like all of these things has changed too. But Elemental, definitely one of the highlights of 2023.
Agreed. Okay, so we're gonna go through like a list of these movies that came out this year
and we didn't see.
Yeah. Okay, Indiana Jones: Dial of Destiny.
I'm so bummed I didn't see it.
Yeah.
We will.
But that also, I mean, it's on Disney Plus. It's not like we won't watch it. But it came out in June, and June, July, August, September, we were pretty much just saving for Disney World. So we were like fully, any spare time we had was focused on like making money.
Well, yeah, but also, because I was working so much overtime.
Yeah.
But also like watching Disney videos and listening to Disney podcasts. We weren't like watching a lot of movies, I don't think, at the time.
No. Another movie I was gonna say it, like, I think it's got mixed reviews. I just really want to watch it so I can be the judge of that myself. Haunted Mansion came out.
Yeah.
Huge fanboy of Rosario Dawson. Love her.
Mm-hmm.
And Owen Wilson's also in it.
Yeah.
And I love Owen Wilson.
They have a lot of really great actors in this movie, so it's definitely one that we'll watch eventually. It's not going to be one of those movies, I don't think, that we rewatch, but maybe like once a year.
Yeah.
Halloween time, like that.
Another movie, The Marvels, which is
Are you surprised we haven't seen it yet?
No, because it came out in November on our anniversary, which I was like, let's go see that on our anniversary. And you were like, no, let's not. And I was like, okay. And we did a bunch of other stuff on our anniversary.
And our anniversary is also 3 days before Grayson's birthday.
Yeah, and during deer season, and during and
Yes.
it's just like pretty much from like November to Christmas is just like we've got Grayson's birthday, we got our anniversary, we have Thanksgiving, and then like Christmas.
Yeah.
And like Black Friday, and like
lots of holidays.
Lots of money spent. So November was like, ooh, we're not going to spend a whole lot of money this month.
Yeah, that was a factor in us not going. I feel like going to movies is kind of our thing that we've always had.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more I'm like, I'd rather just stay home and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get dressed and like go anywhere. But we'll eventually watch it. Yeah. Do you know what kind of reviews it's gotten? Kind of mixed.
It's mixed reviews as well. So I'll be the judge of that. I heard it's a short film. It's only like an hour, and it's
hour and a half.
It's 105 minutes, so that puts it just over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 45 minutes.
About an hour and a half with the credits, or without the credits.
Yeah. So not a long film. Yeah, I'm just not a big Captain Marvel fan. So, I mean, if this was a Thor movie, we'd be going seeing it. But, I'm just not the biggest Captain Marvel fan. I'm more excited about Amon Vellani's Miss Marvel in the movie than I am about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Wish.
We didn't see it.
Which we didn't see. And it's another one of those weird movies that has mixed reviews, and it's a weird movie, I guess, from what I've heard. But it looks kind of cute, and it brings back 2D animation. So we'll like a 2D and 3D animation mix, which looks interesting. The movie looked pretty when we saw the trailer for it, but we have not seen it, and obviously it came out in November as well. So like right before Thanksgiving. So it was one of those, we're just gonna have to wait to see it on Disney Plus kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for movies that came out.
That
we
like
were
the big blockbuster movies.
Yeah, that we were invested in.
Yeah. Let's talk TV shows.
Oh man, I don't even know what TV shows came out this year because I can't even think.
Can we talk about Loki?
Yeah, Loki
first?
season 2.
Because I know this has been anticipated.
Yeah.
Especially by you.
Oh, very much so.
We finally, Josh had already seen season 2, and I finally watched season 2 of Loki, and it was so good. So good.
After like 2 years of me trying to get her to finish season 1, and then saying, we gotta watch season 2, it's so good, she finally freaking watched it. And you loved it.
Season 2 is so much better than season 1.
No, I agree.
I understand that's how things work, but I still feel like just with people's attention span, and I just feel like all of these TV shows that Marvel has been releasing, like they could have condensed like the first and second episode in most of these TV shows.
Yeah.
To get it going a little bit faster. And that's true for like Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's true for Ms. Marvel.
A lot of them. Yeah.
So I think that it lost me just a little bit. But episode 5 and 6 of season 1 were really good. And then obviously season 2 was wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited for the future of Marvel, because this opened up a lot of doors to the multiverse, and who knows where the future is going.
Yeah. Loki season 2 was absolutely crazy. It was super fun. Tom Hiddleston obviously steals the show. Jonathan Majors has like a really good part in the show. It's just a really like altogether good show that I enjoyed the shit out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Norse, anything to do with Thor, that kind of mythology, I'm like all about.
Yeah.
Asgard, all that kind of stuff. So I was 100% bought in on just the Loki aspect in general. And then you just add multiversal and time slipping and all this kind of other crazy stuff. And like all the characters, like from Owen Wilson's character to Obi and Jonathan Major's character, Victor Timely, and just all the characters. It's just like, holy crap, the show's so good.
Yeah, and I feel like Loki obviously kind of came full circle in this show, and it was just really cool to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty empathetic person, so in all of the previous movies with Loki in it, you really want to like him.
Yeah.
And you want to see the good in him, and he finally kind of came around for real in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so good. So good. What's another show that came out this year?
Secret Invasion. And I heard a spoiler about the show.
Okay.
Have you heard?
I watched it.
You watched the whole show?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Should I say the spoiler?
Go ahead.
Rhodey is a Skrull?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, yes, but at the end, no.
What do you mean?
You have to watch the show.
Is the show good? Is the show worth watching? Because I was so excited about it, and then we started episode 1, and again, too slow. Like, it lost me.
No,
I think I just
not.
watched.
It's not very good a show at all. We'll talk about it later.
So much potential, though.
But yeah, it's kind of a very wasted.
God dang it! Dang it, Disney! What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hopefully next year they do a better job. Because we were so hyped for that to come out, because the premise of it is very intriguing, and then. I mean, I'd have to watch it to give like a full.
Yeah, they really did Emilia Clarke's character wrong, I feel like. Because her character was pretty interesting, and then it was like, okay, this is weird. And from what I've heard, like the Marvels completely wipes out pretty much everything that happened in Secret Invasion.
Oh.
For the most part. So it's like, why was there even a Secret Invasion? So, let's just move on past that one.
Why?
Because I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it, because it was just like, it wasn't that good. It was just a disappointment.
But can
honestly.
you, okay, answer me this then.
Okay.
Because, and this is not just to do with Secret Invasion. This is to do with any Marvel TV show.
Okay.
And I don't really know how I necessarily feel about this, but do you feel like they should make like in a TV show, not one of the movies, do you feel like they should make huge like plot developments that changes the course for all of the other movies and TV shows to come? So like Loki, the end of Loki, we know what happens. That is going to change a lot, or have the potential to change a lot. Do you feel like they should make those changes like in a TV show, or should it be left just to the movies?
I think no and yes. I think it should be on a TV show base kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like Loki, yes, because it had already built into this multiverse stuff.
Right.
Secret Invasion, no, not really.
Okay.
Like I'd care less. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like there's only so much that they should be doing with the TV shows. Because in my mind, the TV shows are a spin-off of the movies. And
perfect example of that would be She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
As weird of a show She-Hulk was, like it fit perfectly because it was like its own thing.
Yeah, and it didn't.
It added more thickness to the MCU, but if you didn't see it, you're not missing anything.
Right, and I think that's the main thing that we're getting at is that there's so much content to watch. Not everyone can. So you would think like most people who are still fans but don't necessarily have the time, like they're just going to see the movies. They're not going to watch all the shows.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they should be having these huge developments in the shows that affect the timeline.
I agree. Kind of. But I agree to your point minus Loki, because I think Loki is totally different. Because Loki came from the movies kind of thing. Well, I guess Nick Fury did too, but it makes more sense to me that Loki is like the exception.
Yeah.
Just because it deals with multiverse and all this that we're getting into now.
Maybe if they didn't release so many different things,
I think that's
we would have
more
time.
The problem.
Yeah.
Is that they're pumping out all these things just all at once.
Right.
So you obviously haven't watched this because you're not a big animated fan, but what if season 2 is out now? And I've watched every episode because from the 22nd till now, it's an episode drop a day.
Dang.
So every day they're dropping a new episode.
That's cool.
And wow, that's freaking amazing as of now. It's way better than season 1.
Is it the same animation style?
Uh-huh.
That's what gets me. I'm not a huge fan of that animation style.
See, I like it.
I don't. Otherwise, I think I would watch it.
I like it. And I think you would probably like this season a lot better. It's more interesting, for sure.
I still want a Star Wars What If.
Yeah.
They could do so much with that.
Yeah. Another series that you didn't watch, The Mandalorian season 3 came out this year.
I did watch part of an episode.
Yeah.
And again, they just had too many freaking things. We couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah. I mean, it came out in March, so it was the beginning of the year. But yeah, I love that show.
I watched Ahsoka.
I know. I was going to say Ahsoka came out this year. We watched it. Avatar Way of the Water. It didn't come out this year, but it was out on Disney Plus this year. We watched it multiple times. Let's see, what other shows came out? We saw new episodes of Bluey that came out this year that we obviously loved. Because Bluey's amazing. Let's see here.
Were you not going to talk anymore about Ahsoka or Mandalorian?
Oh, I was just going through a couple of these things real quick so I can get them like off my list so I can go back to that.
Okay.
One cool thing that we did get was Once Upon a Studio.
Yes, that was
The
so
short.
great.
Yeah, that would like made me cry because it was so good. Yeah, that was a great little like. I think it was like 13 minutes, and it was just really, really cute.
And the storytelling in that 13 minutes is better than most of the other things they've done the entire year.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. A lot of the I Am Groot, the little shorts for it.
Yeah,
they came out this year. Those were fun.
Yes, they are so good.
And they're short. I mean, Grayson can watch I think it's all 5 episodes in the span of like an hour or under an hour, like 30 minutes maybe. And that's just nice because we could throw those on and he can watch all 10 episodes for that in about an hour. And it gives us an hour to do like something because he really likes those. Man,
Santa Clauses
Santa
season
Clauses,
2.
Yeah, we haven't watched that, and from what Mom and Jess said, it's not very good.
Yeah, it's hard with a toddler. Grayson is 4 now, so he's a little bit more independent, but he also is very demanding of our attention. Like literally, I think that's one of the most frustrating things for somebody who enjoys cinema and entertainment is like when I want to sit down and watch something, I want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
And with Grayson, if he is present,
Ashley has a meltdown when she can't
I do not
sit
have
down.
a meltdown.
Oh, I've watched your face before, and you're like,
Oh my
I just want to sit down and watch a show.
Sometimes I do get very frustrated with it because it's like we've gotten 5 minutes into a movie and it's like we've already had to pause it 3 times. And it's because he'll come and stand in front of our face, or like he'll be playing and then he'll walk in front of the TV and start talking. And it's just like,
I think it's more or less just him talking, because he can play and it doesn't bother me. It's just when he's like, hey guys.
well, part of it too is like we don't want to just ignore him.
Well,
but it is frustrating for me. Like I do get frustrated.
Yeah, I know.
Josh is really playing it up though. I'm not like hyperventilating about it.
No, I've looked at your face before and
I do a pretty heavy eye roll for sure. We all have our things. I'm allowed to be irritated.
Okay.
Okay, so listen. Okay, let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
You're playing your stupid video game every night.
And I pause it.
And you are in the middle of some sort of weird match thing that you have to do. And I'm going to stop right in front of the TV. And then you die in your game. Okay, so that happens. And then you keep playing.
You know what I do?
And then are you going to say that you pause the game?
No, I tell Sam or Alex to pick up my reboot card and hold on until you leave the room.
So no, then I'm going to come back a minute and a half later, do the same thing times 5. How do you feel? You feel good?
Do you feel good?
Do you feel good?
I mean,
are you gonna eye roll a little bit about it?
I'm gonna be like, what the hell do you want? But
that's exactly, what the hell do you want?
Yeah, but I don't say that to Grayson.
I don't say that to Grayson.
It's just like, a little fella.
I know that. I'm not a bad mom.
I didn't say you were.
He's just a little fella.
A little talkative fella.
He's a very chatty guy.
Oh man, I can't laugh too hard because I'm like partially sick.
Partially sick.
Yeah, I'm like coming out of the sickness. Where you've got like when I had bad now.
I feel like I was getting better, and then I woke up this morning and it was way worse. But I'm heavily medicated.
Yeah.
At this point in the day,
I haven't taken any medicine in multiple days because I'm like, oh, I'm coming out of this now, so I can kind of slow down on the meds. But back to the Star Wars, The Mandalorian season 3 was absolutely epic. I loved it because it was dealing with more like Mandalorian affairs. Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan was like a main staple of the show, and I really like Katie Sackhoff, and I really like that character. And then we also get like a lot with Grogu, which, he's adorable, so it makes it more fun there too. And the show's just really good. I honestly, it's been so long since I've watched, I really can't remember what happens other than I really enjoyed the show. And that they reclaimed Mandalore. So they're, season 4, we're probably going to get something like that on Mandalore. And then Ahsoka was awesome. Loved it. Super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I never watched Rebels, and I've only watched a bit of Clone Wars. But I'm a Ahsoka fan. And after watching this, I'm definitely like an Ahsoka fan. She's super cool. And another, like, Rosario Dawson's awesome. So
yeah. I liked it. I feel like it was a little bit slow.
It was definitely
at the beginning.
Slow. Yeah.
And I think next season, because it was really well received, I'm assuming we'll continue to get
more Ahsoka. Yeah.
I'm assuming that. I don't know if it's been announced or anything.
No, I don't think it has, but the way it left off, it's got to be resolved.
Yeah. I liked it, but I watched it mainly because Hayden Christensen was going to be in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like his character is so interesting. And it did make me want to watch the Clone Wars, or some of the Clone Wars.
The TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It made me want to watch it. I don't know if I will. Because it's a lot to take in.
It's like 7 seasons and 23 episodes a season.
And there's so much content in the Clone Wars. I feel like I should watch it as a Star Wars fan, but it is a time commitment. So maybe and there's so many other things that are live action that I kind of favor.
Yeah, like all these random shows she's been watching.
Yep.
No, I'm very happy with the Star Wars content we've got this year, to say the least. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really.
It's been a very Star Wars has always been popular, and it's kind of had its ebbs and flows of like, oh man, it's really on right now. But I feel like 2023 was a very big Star Wars year.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't think it was just us, because there was a lot of Star Wars merch. People were talking about Ahsoka. I'm not as in tune with like the Mandalorian stuff, but like we rewatched the original trilogy. I think I watched The Last Jedi. No, which one did I watch for the first time?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I watched that for the first time this year.
Yeah.
And like we watched the original trilogy with Grayson, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. And he actually loves them. He's a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't watched the prequels with him.
It's too much for him.
Too much graphic.
No, not too much graphic.
Too much going on.
Diplomatic jargon. Like all those Senate meetings that you have to like sit through practically. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of content. Those movies are really fun in some aspects, but in other aspects, I'm like, man, like the second one, there's some like long scenes, and I'm like I don't care about Senate stuff. I want to see lightsaber fights.
Oh God. Well, we got it in the third movie.
Yeah. He'll watch us eventually, but I feel like his little brain can handle the first trilogy because it's more fun and like goofy, like not in a bad way, but goofy in a good way. Mm-hmm. The prequels are really serious kind of movies. There's not a whole lot of, I mean, some parts are funny, but like you get Jar Jar funny.
Yeah.
And he's not funny. He's more annoying. So.
Definitely a matter of opinion for sure.
Yeah.
But Star Wars was big this year.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot else to say.
Okay. Interesting year for Disney.
Yep.
The parks had some changes too, but I feel like
we're gonna have I feel like we should have like just be a movie discussion, and then in a couple of days we do like a park discussion, like a year-end park discussion.
Yeah, we can.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I'm not done talking.
Okay.
You're like ready to go. He's ready to go. He's like getting ready to stop recording. I think we need to do a what's coming in 2024 podcast.
Yes.
So movies and TV shows that are coming to Disney.
Not a lot because of the actor strike and writer strike. Mm-hmm. Everything's got pushed back to 2025 practically.
Interesting. So we'll talk about that more.
Yeah. And
then maybe the next episode or the episode after that.
Yep.
Depends on how inspired we are this weekend.
Correct.
One thing I want to say, because this was like a big piece of news to me as a fan, is I've talked a couple times, I think, about the Tim tracker. on this podcast. He's one of my favorite Disney YouTubers. But I also have talked about the happiest podcast on earth is one of my favorite Disney podcasts. Well, my favorite person from the happiest podcast on earth, Nick, the theme park dad, and Tim Tracker have created their own podcast. And it will be streaming very soon. And I think just as a fan, it is going to be like supreme content. I'm so excited. I could just listen to them talk. They're both very like upbeat and positive. So I think it's one of those podcasts, if you're feeling kind of down, it's probably going to like pick you up a little bit. But I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Cool.
I wanted to announce that to people who might be interested in other Disney podcasts. I think it's going to be called, I can't remember what it's going to be called, but it's Tim Tracker and Nick, the theme park dad.
Just pretty much just go on their pages and you'll probably
find just go to the Tim Tracker's page. He'll have it. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I don't know why. I just blanked, but I think it's going to be really good. So if you're looking for more Disney content, I think they're planning on releasing something probably at the new year.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes the movie portion of this podcast. Part 2 of year-end review, I guess, talking about parks, and maybe we'll kind of lump that and like what's coming in 2024.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Together. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.